The words hit the Family Feud studio like a lightning bolt, stopping Steve Harvey mid-stride and leaving 300 audience members in stunned silence. 8-year-old Sofia Rodriguez stood at the family podium, her innocent smile bright as sunshine, completely unaware that she had just revealed her family's most carefully guarded secret to millions of viewers. "Our house is our car," she had said with the matter-of-fact honesty that only children possess. "I like the back seat best because that's where I sleep with my teddy bear." Steve's microphone slipped from his hand, clattering to the studio floor. In 40 years of television, he had never heard anything that broke his heart quite like the pure innocence in those words. The cameras kept rolling, but Family Feud had just become something much more profound than entertainment. It had become a window into the hidden struggles that millions of American families face every day. Maria Rodriguez stood frozen at the contestant podium, her worst nightmare unfolding in real time. For 6 months, she had worked tirelessly to shield her children from the reality of their situation. She had turned their homelessness into an adventure, their car into a temporary camping trip, their daily struggle into a game. Now, in front of millions of people, her 8-year-old daughter had innocently shattered the careful illusion she had built to protect her children's sense of security. Let me take you back to how we got here. The Rodriguez family had driven 12 hours from Albuquerque to Los Angeles in their 2009 Honda Civic, the same car that had been their home for the past 6 months. Maria, 34, had been a medical office manager until the clinic where she worked closed down due to budget cuts. 12-year-old Carlos sat tall and protective, unconsciously mimicking the man-of-the-house role he'd been forced into since they lost their apartment. 8-year-old Sofia bounced with the resilience that children somehow maintain even in the most difficult circumstances. The Honda Civic wasn't much to look at. Faded blue paint, a small dent on the passenger door, and tinted windows that provided some privacy when they slept. But to Maria, it represented survival. It was shelter, transportation, and home all rolled into one. She had removed the back seats to create more sleeping space, bought battery-powered fans for circulation, and organized every inch with the efficiency of someone who had learned to make the most of very little space. The Family Feud opportunity had come through a social media contest. The show was featuring Everyday Heroes Week, celebrating single parents, essential workers, and families overcoming adversity. Maria had applied on a whim, never expecting to be selected, thinking it might give her children a fun distraction from their daily reality. When the call came that they had been chosen, she had told Carlos and Sofia they were going on a special camping trip to Los Angeles. Remember, Maria had coached them during the long drive. "We're just visiting. This is like a fun vacation." Carlos, wise beyond his 12 years, had nodded seriously. He suspected more about their situation than his mother realized, but he played along to protect his little sister. Sofia, blissfully unaware of the adult complexity surrounding their living situation, had spent the drive excitedly asking about meeting Steve Harvey and whether they might win enough money to buy a bigger tent for camping. They had spent the night before the taping in a Walmart parking lot in Burbank, a routine they had perfected over months of experience. Maria had learned which stores allowed overnight parking, which rest stops had clean bathrooms, and which fast food restaurants offered the most affordable meals. She had become an expert in invisible homelessness, the kind that doesn't fit the stereotypes most people carry about what it means to be without a home. Maria wasn't on drugs or mentally ill or unwilling to work. She was simply a mother who had experienced a perfect storm of bad luck: job loss, medical bills from Sofia's asthma treatments, a car repair that wiped out their emergency savings, and a rental market where even a modest apartment required first month's rent, last month's rent, and a security deposit she couldn't afford. She had applied for dozens of jobs, but finding steady employment was nearly impossible when you didn't have a permanent address, reliable internet access, or appropriate interview clothes. The children's schools thought they were staying with relatives. The few friends Maria still maintained thought they were between apartments. She had become skilled at deflecting questions about their living situation, always having a ready explanation about temporary arrangements or house hunting. The truth was too embarrassing, too painful, and too scary to share with anyone who might judge her parenting, or worse, contact child services. During the family introductions, Maria had been carefully upbeat. "I'm Maria Rodriguez," she had said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I'm a single mom, and these are my incredible children, who make every day an adventure." Steve had knelt down to speak with the kids, as he always did with younger contestants. "And where are you folks from?" "We're from Albuquerque," Carlos had answered, unconsciously stepping slightly in front of his sister in a protective gesture. "But we've been traveling around a lot lately." "Traveling? Huh?" Steve had said with interest. "That sounds exciting. Where do you like to stay when you travel?" "We camp," Sofia had chirped enthusiastically. "Mama says camping is fun because you get to see new places every night." Steve had smiled warmly, assuming they were a family who enjoyed RV camping or outdoor adventures. The audience had let out an appreciative awe at Sofia's enthusiasm. If only they had known the truth behind her innocent words. The game had progressed normally through the first 3 rounds. The Rodriguez family was playing against the Thompson family from Ohio, and both teams were having fun with the traditional Family Feud energy. Maria had surprised everyone, including herself, by buzzing in with several correct answers. For an hour, she wasn't a homeless single mother struggling to survive. She was just a contestant having fun with her kids on national television. Carlos had been particularly impressive during round 2, confidently answering Faith. When Steve asked for something that gets people through hard times, the answer had earned the #1 spot on the board, and Steve had high-fived him enthusiastically. "How did you know that would be #1, young man?" Steve had asked. "Because my mom always tells us that faith and family can get you through anything," Carlos had replied, looking at his mother with pride and love. But it was during the 4th round that Maria's carefully constructed world came crashing down. Steve had just asked the survey question, "Name the room in your house where your family spends the most time together." It seemed like an innocent question, the kind of wholesome family topic that Family Feud was known for. Maria had stepped forward to answer, but Sofia, who had been quietly listening, suddenly perked up with excitement. "Ooh!" Sofia called out, bouncing on her toes. "I know this one." Steve, charmed by her enthusiasm, looked down at her. "Well, hey there, little lady. You want to help your mama out?" Sofia nodded vigorously. "Our house is our car, and I like the back seat best because that's where I sleep, and I can look at the stars through the back window." The words hung in the air like a confession that changed everything. The studio fell completely silent. Maria's face went ashen as she realized what had just happened. Carlos immediately understood and moved closer to his mother and sister, his young face showing a maturity far beyond his years. Steve Harvey, who had been prepared to move on with the game, slowly set down his index cards. Something about Sofia's innocent honesty and the way Maria had suddenly gone pale told him that this wasn't just a cute comment from a child. This was a family in crisis. "Excuse me, folks," Steve said gently, looking at Maria with compassion rather than judgment. "Sofia, sweetheart, when you say your house is your car, what do you mean by that?" Sofia, still smiling innocently, began to explain their living situation with the casual matter-of-factness that children use to describe their normal, even when their normal would break an adult's heart. "Well, we sleep in our car every night. Mama made it really cozy with blankets and pillows. Carlos gets the front seat because he's bigger, and I get the back seat with my stuffed animals. Mama sleeps in the middle sometimes, or sometimes she stays awake all night to keep us safe." The audience began to murmur as understanding dawned. This wasn't camping or adventure. This was homelessness. Maria brought her hands to her face, tears beginning to stream down her cheeks as 6 months of carefully guarded secrets spilled out through her daughter's innocent words. "And we brush our teeth at gas stations," Sofia continued, warming up to her story. "And Mama always finds the cleanest bathrooms for us. And we eat lots of sandwiches, because you don't need a kitchen to make sandwiches." Steve Harvey felt his heart break completely. He had grown up in poverty, had experienced homelessness himself as a young man, and he recognized the signs of a parent doing everything possible to protect their children's dignity while struggling with impossible circumstances. Without consulting producers, without checking protocol, Steve made a decision that would define this moment forever. He walked away from his podium, approached the Rodriguez family and did something unprecedented. "Stop the game," he announced to the entire studio. "Stop everything." He knelt down in front of Sofia, his voice gentle and warm. "Sofia, baby, you and your mama and your brother have been very brave. Do you know that?" Sofia nodded, though confusion was starting to creep into her expression as she sensed the change in the room's energy. Steve turned to Maria, his eyes full of understanding and respect. "Mrs. Rodriguez, how long have you and the kids been living in your car?" Maria's composure crumbled completely. 6 months, she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I lost my job, and we lost our apartment, and I've been trying so hard to find work and save money for a deposit on a new place. But everything is so expensive and I couldn't let them know how scared I was." Steve stood up and faced the audience and cameras. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at a hero right here. This woman has been keeping her children safe, fed, and loved while facing circumstances that would break most people, and she's been doing it with such grace that her 8-year-old daughter thinks they're on a camping adventure." He turned back to Maria. "You have nothing to be ashamed of. You have been fighting for your children every single day. That's not failure, that's courage." Carlos, who had been quietly holding back tears, suddenly stepped forward. "My mom is the strongest person in the world," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. "She works at temporary jobs when she can find them, and she always makes sure we have food even when she doesn't eat. She tells us stories at night to help us fall asleep, and she never complains, ever." The studio audience was openly crying. Now, the Thompson family had left their podium and gathered around the Rodriguez family in a circle of support. Even the camera operators were wiping their eyes as they continued to film this unexpected moment of raw human truth. But Steve wasn't finished. Unknown to the family and most of the audience, something extraordinary had been happening behind the scenes. During the commercial break, after Sofia's revelation, the show's producers had been frantically making phone calls. Los Angeles was home to many successful business leaders who watched Family Feud, and the show had connections throughout the entertainment and business communities. "Maria," Steve said, his voice carrying across the studio with gravity and hope, "I need you to know something. While we've been talking, some very special people have been watching this show, and they want to do something for your family." He gestured toward the wings of the stage. "I'd like to introduce you to David Chen, a local real estate developer here in Los Angeles." A distinguished Asian man in his 50s emerged from backstage, carrying a folder and wearing an expression of determination and compassion. David Chen walked directly to the Rodriguez family and addressed them with quiet dignity. "Maria, Carlos, Sofia," he said, "I've been watching your story, and I want you to know that your strength and love for each other has touched my heart. My company has been working on an affordable housing project in Burbank, and we have a 3-bedroom house that we would like to give to your family, completely furnished, with no rent, no mortgage, no strings attached." The studio erupted in applause, but Maria could only stare in shock. "I don't understand," she whispered. David Chen smiled gently. "You don't need to understand it, you just need to accept it. Sometimes people want to help, because helping others is how we make the world better. Your children deserve a home, and you deserve to stop fighting this battle alone." He opened the folder and showed Maria the deed to a house. "This is yours, if you want it. Today, we can drive there after the show, if you'd like to see it." Steve Harvey, who had thought he'd seen everything in his decades of television, found himself struggling to maintain his composure. He removed his suit jacket, his lucky jacket that he wore to every taping, and approached the Rodriguez family one more time. "Maria," he said, draping the jacket over her shoulders, "you have been carrying the weight of the world for your children. Today, you can set that weight down. You don't have to be strong alone anymore." He knelt down to Sofia's level. "And you, little princess, you're going to have your own room with real walls and a real bed, and you can still look at the stars, but now you can do it from your very own window." Sofia threw her arms around Steve's neck. "Thank you, Mr. Steve. Can I still tell people that you're my friend?" "Baby girl," Steve said, his voice thick with emotion, "you can tell people that Uncle Steve loves you and your family very much." What happened after the camera stopped rolling became the stuff of television legend. But more importantly, it became a testament to the power of community and compassion. David Chen didn't just provide a house. He arranged for job training for Maria, enrolled the children in excellent local schools, and connected the family with support services to ensure their long-term stability. The house was everything David Chen had promised, and more. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a yard where the children could play, and a kitchen where Maria could cook real meals for her family. Sofia's room had glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling so she could still look at stars from her bed. Maria found steady work within a month, as a medical office manager at a clinic just 20 minutes from their new home. Carlos joined the middle school basketball team and began tutoring younger students. Sofia blossomed in her new school, making friends and discovering a love for art and reading. The episode became one of the most watched and shared in Family Feud history, viewed by over 80 million people across various platforms. But more importantly, it sparked a national conversation about invisible homelessness and the working poor. David Chen's company was flooded with applications from other developers wanting to participate in similar housing initiatives. Steve Harvey's foundation established the Sofia Rodriguez Family Housing Fund, which helps provide transitional housing and support services for families experiencing homelessness. The fund has since housed over 300 families and has inspired similar programs in 12 other cities. 3 years later, Maria Rodriguez earned her real estate license and now works with David Chen's company, helping other families find affordable housing. Carlos is a sophomore in high school, maintaining a 4.0 GPA and planning to study business so he can help other families the way his family was helped. Sofia, now 11, volunteers at the local food bank and often tells her story at community events, helping people understand that homelessness can happen to anyone. Every Christmas, the Rodriguez family hosts a dinner for other families who are experiencing housing instability. They serve the meal on Steve Harvey's jacket, which Maria had framed and turned into a tablecloth, surrounded by photos of all the families they've helped over the years. The lesson that 8-year-old Sofia taught that day extends far beyond housing or poverty. She reminded the world that children are resilient, that families are defined by love rather than circumstances, and that sometimes the most powerful way to help someone is simply to listen to their story without judgment. Steve Harvey learned that day that the greatest entertainment isn't scripted, it's authentic human connection. Sometimes a game show host can do more than make people laugh. Sometimes he can help create the moment when a community comes together to change a family's entire trajectory. Maria Rodriguez often says that the real miracle wasn't the house. It was the reminder that they weren't alone, that strangers could become family, and that sometimes admitting you need help is the bravest thing you can do, because that's what real community looks like. That's what compassion sounds like. And that's what happens when a child's innocent honesty becomes a catalyst for extraordinary kindness, proving that sometimes the most important homes aren't built with walls and roofs. They're built with love, understanding, and people who refuse to let others face their struggles alone. The car still sits in their driveway, but now it's just transportation. Home is the place where Sofia looks at real stars through her bedroom window, where Carlos does his homework at an actual desk, and where Maria cooks dinner in a kitchen that belongs to them forever.